Debate number one tonight. Rita Bahuguna Joshi, senior leader of the Congress party, Siddharth Nath Singh of the BJP. Sudhindra Bhatodia represents the BSP tonight. My first question is to Gaurav Bhatia. Mr. Bhatia, it is elementary that now that this mafia don cum politician has been named in a formal complaint to the police, he must be arrested. If he is not arrested for killing a policeman, Mr. Bhatia, there is no justice or any hope of justice. I'm sure you'll agree.
Arnab, as you are saying that this incident has happened and it's very unfortunate, there are certain measures that are required to be taken immediately by the state government. Now in this case, an FIR has been registered. One, two, the cops who were accompanying the deceased, who ran away and who were duty bound to protect him, have been suspended. Third, there have been arrests that have been made. Your question is that why is the ex-minister not arrested? So to that I would say, and please permit me to speak and complete myself, that an arrest is to be made by the investigating officer when he has incriminating material. In this case, the role of the ex-minister is of conspiracy. So if there is a substantive offense, if somebody is accused of say 302 murder, he can be arrested by the IO, as well as if there is a conspiracy role assigned to an accused, then there should be enough evidence gathered by the investigating officer.
Doesn't hold.
That is being done.
It doesn't hold.
It
doesn't hold because
to finish myself.
Because one minute. The question here is, the question is that if he is out, let's get Sudhindra Bhatodia and let's open the debate. If he is out, then the eyewitnesses whose evidence is key, they will be intimidated by this man if he is out. It's elementary. I don't know why you are not looking at that. Sudhindra Bhatodia.
Arnab,
Sudhindra Bhatodia,
please. 2 months back, around 2 months back,
the investigation
2 months back, you know,
is on.
Arnab Goswami, on your channel there was a debate and I was there, where Mr. Pandit Singh, I think he's not letting me even speak. You can understand, they are not even letting people speak. How can there be justice in Uttar Pradesh? Let me complete.
No, Mr. Bhatodia, you please complete yourself. I will not interrupt you.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Pandit Singh, a minister who was responsible for pulling employee of the UP government, the CMO, out from his house at 12 o'clock in the night, bashed him up and forced him to sign some papers. He was removed from the ministry. Then there was a eyewash inquiry. He was again reinstated. Therefore, in this case as well, where in Uttar Pradesh today there are 7,000 cases, 4,000 of murder, 3,000 of rape. How can there be any law unless the government comes heavily
Mr.
on
Bhatodia,
these criminals?
again I would say
I can tell you there is a complete breakdown of the law and order machinery.
Are they authentic? What is the basis?
Yes, the basis was, we were there, both of us were there in the electronic media discussion. They were themselves displaying this. Everybody in the country knows
if a minister, 1 minute.
And if you want, one second.
Don't question on statistics. Don't confuse on legalities. Fact of the matter is, Gaurav Bhatia, you are a good lawyer. You are a good lawyer, but like a good lawyer.
The role of the government, whether the government has been effective or not, whether they have been fulfilling their duties or not.
Raja Bhaiya's criminal history leaves no doubt that he will use his influence to try and scuttle the probe. He faces 3 charges as of now related to criminal intimidation under 506. As of now, Gaurav Bhatia, you know that. Don't change the subject. Let's get in Rita Bahuguna Joshi.
Arnab, please,
Rita Bahuguna Joshi, please, of the Congress.
He is no longer a minister in the government so that he can influence the investigation.
So what? Rita Bahuguna Joshi.
Look, this is one of the most dastardly and daring murders that has taken place in our state, and it has really shaken up the whole state. Now, as you said, the perception about this gentleman is not very good amongst the people. And the government was under a lot of pressure. It took them 3 days to act. And it took them about 2 days to decide whether the CM, who is also the Home Minister, should or should not attend the funeral of that very daring and that very bold officer who was not succumbing to any kind of pressure in the past 6 months. See, what is most worrying is that when the deceased wife, who is also professional, she's a dentist by profession, she's an educated woman, when she is giving a FIR, registering an FIR, the threats were coming to her husband and he kept on informing about her. And when she's saying that these criminals took the opportunity in their hands and they murdered him in cold blood and with such badly he was battered. So obviously they had some political strength behind them. They could not have dared to touch the officer of a DSP rank, who is a CO.
Let's get Siddharth Nath Singh.
So many police stations come. How could they touch him without the support of a politician?
Let's get Siddharth Nath Singh.
Who is the politician? It certainly should be the minister.
Siddharth Nath Singh, the Samajwadi Party says, we've sacked this man. What more do you want us to do?
No, well, you can't have double standards, one before the election, one after the elections. Before the election, when Azam Khan announced the induction of DP Yadav, then he was not, because Akhilesh Yadav put his foot down and he was removed. But now, the day the swearing in happened and one of the first minister happens to be an independent minister, despite they having the full majority, is Raja Bhaiya. Now, Raja Bhaiya is the same person in 2003 who had POTA charges against him, that within 25 minutes of SP government coming in, all the POTA charges were dropped. However, Supreme Court intervened and said, no, it cannot be. So they could not drop. But subsequently, because the POTA was scrapped for various reasons, in 2004, the case was removed from him. But we should not forget that he has a history of vendetta.
Yes.
When the same officer who had raided his house,
yes,
that officer CO R.S. Pandey, who was deposed in front of the Allahabad High Court, a day before, mysteriously he is killed in an accident. And that case also goes to the CBI. And my worry is, Arnab, that the same thing is happening in this case of Ziaul Haq. It has taken more than 6 years for any truth to come out in R.S. Pandey. It's a cover-up, it's a sham, and the same will happen here also.
Gaurav Bhatia, let me broad-base this. Do you simply not care about perception today? Do you? One increasingly gets a sense. Allow me to complete. Allow me to complete.
Yes.
Allow me to complete.
I feel the same when you don't allow me to complete.
I will let you complete.
I permit you to complete.
Okay,
please.
I will let you complete. Yes. You let me complete. My question to you is, one gets a growing sense, Gaurav Bhatia, that the Uttar Pradesh government feels it's got a mandate. It simply does not care about perception. It is playing the game of politics at a different level. It feels all of these are urban debates. It will simply muscle its way through.
Arnab, that is absolutely not correct. Let me say this, that the law of the land should prevail, and look at the role of the government since the time this incident has occurred. First thing is to register an FIR. That has been done. The minister is out. He does not enjoy any ministerial power that he can influence the investigation.
Enjoy.
Thirdly, the cops who were supposed to do their duty have been suspended. Fourth, the chief minister has already visited the family of the deceased and has taken feedback from them, and the rule of law would prevail. Fifth, most important is that if anybody has any doubts that fair investigation would not be conducted, the Honorable Chief Minister himself has stated that CBI investigation can take place and there would be no objection to that. So all this would show that the state government is acting promptly and fairly, and the Honorable CM himself has said that we will ensure, no matter how powerful or mighty the person is, if he has indulged in an activity or has conspired to kill a police officer,
you'll give him an internal clean chit.
Be punished.
You'll give him a clean chit, like you gave another minister.
I'm sorry.
You gave another minister a clean chit in the past. You'll do the same in this one.
Arnab, there is a distinction. That was not an investigation, please. This is an investigation that is taking place right now. And the police officers are acting promptly, as your news channel itself has shown. 2 people have been arrested. FIR has been lodged by name against the person.
A police officer,
I assure you,
a senior police officer gets killed. Everyone names your minister as the person who carried out the conspiracy. You can reverse suspensions, Gaurav Bhatia. The visit of the chief minister means nothing.
We are Arnav, we are not talking about suspensions. The investigation will take place if any person, even the
Mr. Bhadoria.
conspirator or other persons who are there, 2 people have been arrested.
You
If somebody has hatched a
the
conspiracy,
Chief Minister is
evidence would be
saying
gathered, he would also
that
be
there should be a
punished.
CBI
But
inquiry in this.
Let us please, Mr. Bhadoria, please allow me to complete. I didn't speak when you were
Let me
speaking.
come. No, I mean, Mr. Arnab Goswami has asked me to speak, so therefore I am speaking.
And let us not interfere with the investigation, and that is why I said
I'm
it
so
is very
sorry. You
important right now
almost
that even a CBI
This is-
investigation
you see,
is acceptable to the state government, and we don't control the CBI. That shows the bona fides of
your
our
party,
Chief Minister.
your
You see,
party,
it is
your party
Mulayam
hopes.
Singh Yadav. It is the same Mulayam Singh Yadav who used to say that the CBI is used politically. It is not a autonomous institution, not a fair inquiry can
Yes,
be conducted
used against-
through CBI. Now
Mr.
they
Bhadoria,
want.
used
They
against-
have already
used against the
labeled.
political leaders. Used against the political leaders.
Yes,
But
and
here we
he's
are
a
not
political
talking
leader
about the
too.
political-
And he's
So-
and Mr. Raja Bhaiya is a political leader too, and that is why Mr. Mulayam
And
Singh
you
was
know-
forced
and
to
you
make
know
him
how
a minister
CBI has been
who.
misused against other leaders, not in favor
Yes.
of them, but against them.
Yes, surely. Therefore, we want he should be arrested. Number one. Number two, there should be an inquiry under judicial order, and also some judges should be also appointed in that inquiry. Otherwise, these people,
Mr.
those police
Bhadoria,
officers who are being killed, how can they conduct a
Let's not politicize
fair inquiry in this
because
matter? I am sure.
I would refresh your memory that when erstwhile Chief Minister Mayawati was there, she never even visited one of the victims to even know what their plight was and what they wanted. So
Come on, Mr.
We all know.
Come on, Mr. Rahul Bhatia. Now,
let's not get into this.
Mr. Bhatia, now,
I
you are in
prefer
the
not to
government.
talk about our opponents because that is the reason they are out of
Akhilesh
power.
Yadav had said.
But let's not get into that.
Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, let me refresh your memory.
Akhilesh Yadav
Let me
will
refresh
see-
your memory. Let me
will
refresh
bite
your
the
memory,
dust.
Mr.
Where
Bhatia.
2014, you will see. 2014, they will bite the dust. The people of Uttar Pradesh are fed up of this criminal government. Now they will bite the dust.
One second. Here is the situation. I want to address this question to the entire Newshour audience. A police officer is shot dead. He is lynched. His service revolver is taken out. He's shot at point blank. The entire conspiracy, people say, locals say, the victim's family say, has been hatched by a minister called Raja Bhaiya. My contention today is that your chief minister, immediately after taking oath, when he was asked about Raja Bhaiya, he said all the cases against him are political vendetta. Did he say that or not, Gaurav?
Arnav, yes.
Is
I
this
would
also
answer your
political
question.
vendetta?
There is a difference. Yes, there is a difference between a person being accused and being convicted. Please understand the difference, and that is why we said there were a
Yeah.
number of cases. Those were slapped not just against one
Siddharth
person,
Nath
but
Singh.
many political leaders of Samajwadi Party. Those were due to political reasons, and BSP was doing it. So if a person is convicted, yes, then the rule of law has prevailed. The court
Yes,
has held
Siddharth.
him to be guilty.
Mr.
But
Singh
when
is
he
responding to you.
accused, you cannot say the same.
I can appreciate Gaurav Bhatia's position because his job is to defend. But unfortunately, we are talking about actually it's not that whether it's Raja Bhaiya or someone, but there is a huge problem which we are facing in Uttar Pradesh, and those who belong to Uttar Pradesh must understand also. There is a law and order which is deteriorating. We all know about it. Law and order, if it is related
Gaurav.
to a robbery or theft or murder, it's a separate issue. But when the law and order is deteriorating, I'm making a very
Gaurav,
strong
please
point
pay
here.
attention. The point is
Law and
directly
order
to you.
deteriorating because law and order is deteriorating because of the caste and communal vote bank. It's a very serious, and trust me, it is sitting on a tinderbox where a section, a religious community, you can't file an FIR, and that's the instruction coming from the government to the Thana, that you can't file an FIR, and if you have to, please go to their house. It's a serious issue, and that is the reason what we are seeing. Sometimes police is unable to act, and sometimes the politicians in the government, they behave and they don't bother about law and order. I think that's where the address should be going from Akhilesh Yadav and others who really mean some some good for the Uttar Pradesh.
Well, I
And
think
if this continues,
there's
trust me, it's
also-
a center box and it will explode.
There's also got to be some introspection by both the Samajwadi Party and the BSP, which hope to snatch a slice of the pie in Delhi one day very soon. Mr. Sudhindra Bhatt, it's all right to lecture others. The fact is that the 49-member Council of Ministers in May 2007 that Mayawati swore in had 22 of the 49 had criminal cases pending against them. What more proof do you need of your own hypocrisy? Mayawati denied a ticket to a 4-time MLA on charges of corruption against him, but in July 2002 she appoints the same man to head the BSP's Uttar Pradesh unit. You want me to give you more examples? Mr. Bhadoria, unfortunately,
You see, on that, I tell you, there is yes.
Plead guilty.
On that, let me say this. There is criminalization of politics in this country. Let there be a serious radical electoral reforms. Let the government call a round table. If our party backs out, then you have the right to say this. But if we are seriously committed to electoral reforms, let the criminals be weeded out of political process. There is no denying that if this continues, our democracy is in peril. We are not denying that. But this
don't generalize it when it comes to you.
A single rule for the BSP and all the criminals of Uttar Pradesh.
Rita Bahuguna Joshi.
Samajwadi Party to...
Ms. Rita Bahuguna Joshi, yes please.
Look, it's very unfortunate. I've been listening to the debate. But though both these parties, whether it's the BSP or the SP, all their cadres, if you try to analyze them, they are full of people with criminal backgrounds. And they are always sheltered and they're promoted within the party system. They're given a lot of important positions to run the government. And besides that, if you go to the districts now, why do you think that crime has escalated so much? Because they give their cadres free hand to go and do whatever they like, whether it is legal or illegal. So I'm very, very rightly, as you said, the BSP has no face to talk, nor does the Samajwadi Party now. And I still feel Gaurav is defending very strongly, obviously. He's a party functionary. But the question remains that the perception in the state is women are not safe, people are not safe, and now even the police cadres are not safe.
Why is your central unit silent? If this incident had happened, for example, in Gujarat, you would have gone hammer and tongs, Rita Bahuguna Joshi. You would have gone hammer and tongs. Today, allow me to complete. Today it happens in UP and your party says, we think your young chief minister will do what he has to. How come you're so generous to the young chief minister in this case?
Please listen. Today the House proceedings were stalled by the Congress party. It was for 1.5 hours.
I am talking about Delhi. What in Delhi?
It was on our insistence.
What did you do in Delhi?
It was on our insistence that this was debated in the House.
No.
And we are speaking very, very openly.
At the national level, no.
I mean, it is a state issue.
No, it's not true.
It is a state issue. And
Siddharth Nath Singh.
After a real also leader. So how can you say?
I'm not saying the BJP is completely innocent, but the fact is, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, that your party is being totally soft on Mulayam because you need his support in Delhi. So you will make a little noise in Lucknow, but you won't do beyond that. Your leaders in Delhi will say absolutely nothing. Siddharth Nath Singh, your view, please.
We attack when public issues come up.
We are accused number of times, and our state is accused for the communal violence and all. And it has appeared in number of debates and otherwise also. But Rita ji is also coming from Uttar Pradesh. But there are more than 50 to 60 serious communal violences incidents which has happened in Uttar Pradesh, and it happened in Allahabad, it happened in Rai Bareli, Kosi Kalan, there are a number of it, and we can keep repeating them. Now we do know why this communal violence is happening there, but we don't hear the center pointing any fingers or saying that we are sending a team.
What are you saying to the Congress?
To be corrected.
What are you saying to the Congress? Say it directly.
Well, I'm telling you, you cannot have a...
Say it directly to Ms. Joshi.
I'm saying to them, you cannot...
Ms. Joshi, listen to him, I'll come back to you.
You cannot have a double standard. You cannot have a double standard on communal violence. You must reject it outrightly and take action. And be an active political activist to say to Samajwadi Party, yeah, here it is, and you are promoting communalism in Uttar Pradesh.
Ms. Joshi.
We have always stood up against fundamentalism, And this fundamentalism, whether it comes from the BJP or from elsewhere, we have always fought against
No,
it.
no, 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 no,
There
no,
have
no,
been
no,
11
Ms. Joshi,
rights
Ms.
in this
Joshi, the
government,
charge
and
is
for
very
every
direct.
issue,
Ms. Joshi,
we
the
have
charge
fought
is
against
direct.
I have a direct
So
question
please,
from her.
Please don't talk like
It's a
this.
very
Don't
direct
talk like
question.
this.
Okay,
Congress will never support.
Second question.
Will never support any kind of rising
It's the second
or any
question.
kind of
Second question from the
communication.
BJP to
We
you.
always
Go ahead.
stand up against it.
Second question.
Arnab, my question is very straight to Congress. Samajwadi Party is, well, they are in the government. Things are happening. There is a communal violence. There is a law and order because of communal violence. Let me be honest. And if you want, I don't wish to, but if you want, I can give you the examples also. But it is the duty of the center that it cannot play because they need their support and run the parliament. Democracy cannot be run on that basis. They must act on it and control the Uttar Pradesh, which is sitting on it's just like a matchbox. It can explode any time and things will really go out of control.
Why don't you ask for 356 in Uttar Pradesh? You ask for 356 every second day in Bengal after Mamata Banerjee withdrew support from you. Is your response to law and order situations also a political response, Rita Bahuguna Joshi? It's fairly direct, that one.
Well, look, it's going to be 1 year of this government. We have given them a lot of space to function, to act, and to give good governance. On every issue now, we are coming up against the government. In the House, you see, we have had general motions. We have walked out. We have come to the streets. It's not like that we are not fighting against them. But we do not need to speak on every issue. And the question, as you said, is that they have a thumping majority of 226 seats in the House. The people have reposed confidence in them. So we have to give them at least 1 year before we start attacking them.
So what?
Now,
okay, Sudhindra Bhadoria is coming in. Mr. Bhadoria, please.
Ask for three. See, they can use 356 against the Nambudri Path government. They can ask for 356 in West Bengal. Why should they not do this? There are 7,000 cases, 4,000 of murder, 3,000 of rape have taken place in Uttar Pradesh. A dozen places are there where communal riots have taken place. The Shahi Imam of Delhi says that no minority person is safe in Uttar Pradesh. I don't see that you need more reason to use now 356. Therefore, we should ask for a governor's rule in Uttar Pradesh, which Ben Mayawati has asked for.
With all your misgovernance, we allowed you full 3 years to correct yourselves. What kind of governance did you give to this?
No, but what kind of rule is that?
What are you talking
high emotion that you're talking now.
No.
But we gave you full 2 to 3 years to correct yourselves.
EMS Nambudri Path government, why did you dismiss EMS Nambudri Path government?
The question, when that moment comes, we will demand it. But we are not.
No, but that moment will not come till the next general election. It's a very convenient relationship.
Don't divert.
No. What's it?
Don't divert the issue.
I am not diverting, ma'am. The question is
the law and order situation in UP.
The question is
your regime was as bad as
you convinced that you.
That was Jungle Raj. This is an equally bad Jungle Raj.
You convince.
And we are going to speak against both of you. You cannot give governance to the state. You couldn't give. The SP is unable to give. We had hopes from
Miss Joshi,
Chief Minister,
Miss Joshi,
who is young, who was well-meaning
Miss
in the
Joshi, Miss Joshi, today a significant event has happened.
The people.
Today a significant event has happened.
Yeah.
There are 3 bullet wounds on this Deputy Superintendent of Police, ma'am. Let me tell you. There is one in the chest. There is one in either leg. There are 4 anti-mortem injuries on both hands and at the back of the head. This seems he was specifically targeted. He was not a prey to mob frenzy, ma'am. He was targeted and killed in your state. And you say we will give them more time. The same man will come back to the cabinet. You will still say we will give the Samajwadi Party more time.
I have clearly told you, we are watching how this government works on this incident. And if we find that they're not fair, if we see that they are again trying to shelter those who are culprits to this heinous crime, that he was a student of my department in Allahabad University. I have known and seen he was a very upright officer. And that is why the party is highly agitated, because he was a very good officer. He was bold, he was unfearing, And you see the House, today the proceedings were stalled by us, not by the Bahujan Samaj Party. But I'm still saying we will watch this government on this case and see how it proceeds. So obviously, as
Siddharth Nath Singh, last response.
The eyes of the entire nation is on this case.
I'm not really here to corner Congress, but since Rita ji has been speaking so much of what the Congress has done, let me ask a question. It doesn't relate the SP. It doesn't relate a government now in or the political party in governance. It relates to the government before. That is BSP. Why is CBI bent upon to make a closure on the NHRM case and saying that Dr. Sachan was a suicide case?
What are you suggesting?
Now, what is that the CBI is playing? The question is that the CBI is being still used by the Congress because you want to extract the vote of Samajwadi Party and the BSP. There are numerous cases which are now coming in force.
Should we then
maybe
presume that
Rita Bahuguna ji can
using
speak about a
CBI
government which
against
is not in
opponents?
power
No.
now.
CBI is an independent body. CBI is an independent body. You also been in the national government.
Let's not get
Should we
it.
then presume that you have an experience of exploiting the CBI? You were there for 7 years. What did you do? See, you have to trust the highest investigating agency in the country. They are independent. We never interfere with it. You've been in the national government for 7 years. Should I presume that you've been misusing that?
No, the question is very simple.
No,
the question is simple. A question.
We are
diverting this debate from the main issue, I think.
No, why diverting, Sudhin?
The question is the breakdown of law and order in Uttar Pradesh.
The deceased wife has asked for a CBI inquiry. If the deceased wife has trust in the CBI, why should anybody else distrust them? The wife has asked for a CBI inquiry.
The reason we have said all this is because there is no trust in the CBI. We should be looking at a judicial, monitored by a High Court, Allahabad High Court or Lucknow bench or somebody. This should be a monitored inquiry. Otherwise, the truth is not going to. And what has happened in the R.S. Pandey case or in the NHRM case, this will be the same case and the fate will be similar.
1 minute, just at the very end, I want to recap this story for our viewers. This is the biggest news story of the last 24 hours. A deputy superintendent of police who was on duty has been hunted down, lynched and killed, allegedly on the instructions of a minister who is extremely close to Akhilesh Yadav. The buzz in Lucknow is Akhilesh Yadav wants to bury the story and then bring the minister back in some time. I put this question to everyone watching the News Hour tonight. Will you be satisfied with such a cover-up? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1.